I recently received a request on Instagram from Malaya who says, "Hi, I'm trying to teach my friend the importance of building credit and how to start with introductory credit cards, but I couldn't find a video on it." Well, my friend, this video is for you. We are going to be talking about how to build credit and use credit cards responsibly in this one. Stick around. Hey, what's up guys? It's Justine with Debt Free Millennials, the channel to help you crush your debt and live payment free. Now, as part of living a payment free life, we really want to get rid of the debt. So when we're talking about credit and building credit, what are we actually talking about here? Well, there are two major reasons why you would want to build your credit. Number one is to get approval for other things like mortgages or favorable credit card terms. The second one would be anytime that you might want to apply for a lease on a rental or maybe even get new car insurance, your credit score may be factored into the price that you pay on that new car insurance premium or whether or not you get approved for that lease application. So what exactly is credit? Well, when we talk about credit, we're really talking about our credit score. Our credit score is comprised of 5 major factors. 30% of your credit score is made up of the amount of debt that you owe. 10% is made up from any new debt. 15% goes to length of credit history. 10% goes towards your credit mix. This is just the types of loans or debt that you might have under your name, such as a credit card, mortgage, or a car loan. You definitely don't need all of these to have a good credit mix. And 35% of your credit score is made up from your payment history. All of these things are factored into one score that banks and lenders, financial institutions use to determine whether or not you are a responsible borrower. The higher your score, the higher likelihood it is that you are going to responsibly pay back any future loans on time. So really, when we're talking about a credit score, your credit score is made up of debt. Again, the debt you owe, new debt, types of debt, your debt payment history. So really, this should be called a debt score, not a credit score. Knowing that these are the types of factors that go into your credit score, what can you do about it to increase your credit score? All right, there's a couple of things that you can do. Number one, do not carry a debt balance. If you do have debt, make sure that you're paying it off as quickly as possible. Number two, limit how often you are applying for new credit. Anytime that you're applying for new credit, such as a new credit card, or maybe you are even doing a pre-approval for a mortgage and you're wanting to buy a home, keep in mind any hard credit checks can temporarily yet negatively impact your credit score. Number three, keep your oldest card open. Now you'll have to check and make sure, number one, that your oldest card does not have any balance on it, and also that you aren't penalized for keeping that card open and not actively using it. So my husband Kyle has an old credit card from the very first bank that he ever banked with, and that account is still valid and open even though he's not charging anything to that card. Because remember, the length of credit history that you have, the more that your credit score increases. And so having that oldest card open can actually really benefit you. Now, I tried to do this with an old business credit card that I had when I was doing a marketing consulting business around 2016. And because I hadn't used the card all year long, they said, if you're not going to make any new charges on this card, we are actually going to close it because it's not active. So sometimes it works, sometimes it doesn't. You'll definitely have to check and make sure. But if you can, I highly recommend keeping that oldest credit card open. Number four, pay everything on time. Hands down, pay everything on time. You saw in that pie chart that 35% of your credit score is made up of payment history. The longer that you have a history of on-time payments, the likelihood that your credit score is going to increase. That's a huge portion of your credit score is made up of that payment history. So making on-time payments, even changing things around so that you can afford the payments and never miss one, setting up automated payments is going to help you just stay consistent with that if that's been a problem in the past. So what do you need to know if you're a beginner, you're brand new to building a credit score, maybe you just graduated college and you're finally getting everything under your name? What do you do about this? If you're just getting started, you don't have a substantial length of credit history in order to apply for perhaps a new credit card. Maybe you're looking at a credit card that gives you really good travel rewards and perks and points. Well, because you don't have a substantial length of credit history, it's going to be really difficult for you to get that credit card. I know it's like this double-edged sword where you're like, I don't have the credit history in order to apply for this credit card, and this credit card, it says that this is something that I need. What? It doesn't make sense. So what I recommend if you are in that boat is to start with your bank's credit card first. So typically most banks will offer their own in-house credit card, and what they'll use in order to determine whether or not you'll be approved for this card is they'll take a look at your bank statements and see, okay, this is the transactions of money coming in and out of their checking account. This is how I know that they'll have enough money in order to pay for this credit card. You'll probably have a really low credit limit to begin with. Think maybe like a couple $100. If you can get used to just putting maybe like a gas or a Netflix bill on that bank credit card, maybe for the next 6 months to a year, and then you go in and apply for a credit card that you really like. Maybe it's one with Chase, or it's an airline related credit card that really fits your lifestyle. The likelihood of you getting approved for that lifestyle card or that Chase card is going to be significantly higher because you've had a proven track record with your bank's credit card first. Also, if your credit limit is really low, keep your credit usage to about 30%. So let's say you have a credit limit $500, you'll want to keep your credit usage, or in other words, how much money you're actually charging to that card, at around $150. If they see that your credit usage is just a small percentage of that credit limit, then you can go back and call up customer service and ask them to increase your credit limit so that you can put more money on that card. Therefore, you have that history being built up as time allows, and within a year or two, then you can apply for a new card. I think credit scores are just so frustrating. I think they are really just not a good indicator of who you are as a person, and also it doesn't even take account of your net worth, how much money that you have. Wouldn't that be crazy if your credit score actually factored in how much money that you're worth, what your net worth is, and whether or not that would help you get things like a mortgage later on down the road? Who knows? But I just think it's one of those things that's really frustrating, but it is something that is necessary to say, I want this new credit card, and this is my history of working with credit cards and other loans in the past. The only time that I feel like a credit score would be necessary to work on is if you are looking at applying for a mortgage, or you're wanting to upgrade your credit card. Okay, so where do you go to look at your credit score? There are 3 major credit bureaus to look at: Experian, TransUnion, and Equifax. Now, you can use free services like Credit Sesame or Credit Karma to look up your credit score for free, and there's no hard inquiries on or hard credit checks on your credit score, so you aren't penalized for that. You'll also want to check out annualcreditreport.com. Annual Credit Report is going to pull up a whole credit report history with every single loan or type of debt that has been taken out under your name. You'll want to check that report once a year, and you can do so for free using annualcreditreport.com, and take a look at everything that's been opened under your name. You'll want to do this because you'll check for any kind of identity theft or fraudulent activity that may be linked to your account. If there's any source of that going around, your report is going to show you that, and therefore you can take action to correct it. Credit scores are unfortunately a part of our financial health. Whether you see them as a negative or a positive, this is a system and a tool that our country uses in order to help you apply for new credit or new debt. And so, as I said before, I am not a fan of debt in any form except for the mortgage. I realize, especially in this housing market, a mortgage is absolutely necessary in order to become a homeowner. I think this is something to pay attention to, but it is not something to obsess over. As long as you are not carrying any balance on your credit cards and the existing debt that you have, you are making substantial headway by making extra payments on those debts every single month. You are going to see your credit score correct over time into a positive direction. Keeping those payments consistent is going to be your best bet in building that credit score. And if you are just starting from scratch, definitely take a look at your bank's own credit card offering, because the chances of you getting approved for one of those with your bank is a lot higher than just going to one of these big credit card companies and then getting denied. And it's a whole mess. Trust me, I've done it from experience. So what did you think of this video? Was this helpful? Is there something that I'm missing that has worked for you in building your credit score? Let me know in the comments below. If you want to join like-minded millennials who are committed to living a payment-free life, please subscribe to the channel and I'll catch you in the next one.